This is JD's podcast, JD's Rubber Boots podcast. We're gonna sit and relax and tell you all sorts of stories. You know we're gonna talk about life and sports. You know we're gonna play some games. And if nothing else, you know we're gonna have a laugh. We're gonna have a laugh, yeah. And this is the podcast.
Was that your very first one you ever did?
That is the unplugged original version.
Did that open our first?
I think that was
episode one.
Season 1, yeah.
Hello, Canada, or wherever the hell you are. Podcast episode 1.
Yeah.
That's special, man.
You know what? It's nice to have these little trips back in time.
Yeah. I just washed my hair in my sink.
I don't think any of us expected him to say that.
Why?
Wow.
I was late. I played the golf.
Segue.
Played the golf this morning.
You couldn't have gone to the shower still.
No, I was down there and we're taping supposed to be at 2:15 and I walked in the door at 2 and I had my freshie with me I had to eat, still not sponsoring the pod. And so I washed my hair in the sink. Disgusting or appropriate in a time?
I would say more difficult.
Yeah, it was a challenge.
Like you're trying to get your head. It's got to be a deep bowl.
No deep bowl. I had to use the water onto my hands and put them into my hair and put the shampoo on. It was the rinsing that is more of a process. Have you ever washed your hair in a sink before?
Well, I mean, at the hairdressers, they wash my hair.
There's no way.
It's amazing. If I ever become rich,
the massage
every
you get,
day.
Did she give you the scalp massage?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to
I honestly, every time I feel like just keep giving $5 bills. Keep going. Keep going.
I'm going to get
lower.
I'm going to get my
You
hair
asked for
done.
a happy ending at the hairdresser?
It's crossed my mind on occasion.
Well,
It is one of those
I don't know that
kind
my
of
guy Rocco
spas.
would be good for that. Hey,
Am I in these guys' headphones? Can they hear me?
no, I was
I'm
just
just
finishing
curious.
off with him for a
I'm
second.
just curious.
I finish off and then I was going to address you.
I think it's a selective hearing situation.
I was just going to say, I'm going to get my dreads tightened on Thursday, and I'm looking forward to the scalp massage. It's going to be great.
I'm doing that on Friday.
Is that right?
Crazy.
How often do you get your dreads tightened?
I get my dreads tightened, my locks tightened, probably about once every 3 months. I should do it more often, but I'm just...
What happens when they get loose? Do they get frayed?
They don't get frayed, but at the roots, it's not as tight. You'll see me next week. When I come in next week, you'll notice.
Yeah.
And you'll see my scalp a little bit because all the hair is kind of grown in. So it's been a long time. It's actually been 4 months since I've done it.
Can you take your dreadlocks out?
No. If I want to get rid of this hairstyle, I got to shave my head because it's entwined, right? My hair's all entwined.
So you can't you can't undreadlock dreadlocks.
I can't undread dreadlocks. No. This is I started my dreads in 2003.
Whoa.
I cut them once, but this is now probably about 4 or 5 years of growth.
So when I met you in 98...
Yeah, I did. I had a shaved head.
Really?
Yes, I did. I had a shaved head.
Because I think the first Christmas party I went to, you were playing, right? You were playing sax.
Yeah,
with
I was.
The Boy Wonder.
Favorite time of the year. That was at
Mike-
Joe Badali's.
Joe Badali's.
On Front Street, yes.
Yeah, I remember those parties.
Yes,
They were awesome.
Yes, they were good.
Those were the TSN days when we were kind of independent. We love Bell.
Yes.
They're wonderful.
Yes.
There's something to be said for the little thing.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
That's when it was crazy. People were just hooking up with everybody.
Oh,
They were
Oh, man.
God.
So many
wife
hookups.
swap. I left with Roddy one night.
How are those fries, Susan?
Crazy. What a night that was.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
It's like the Rod and Burgundy days. Yeah, I don't have any disgusting habits like that. I was thinking that washing my hair in the sink was disgusting as I was doing it. Maybe at a campground I do something like that. Do you have any disgusting habits? Because we need to know about this. We're going to do something later today, the sharing circle. By the way, as we welcome you to the Rubber Boots Pod. What episode is this? 4? Season 4, episode 4.
But
That's
is it
a number
episode
scheme.
100.
Is this it?
Is it? We don't know.
I think that's next week.
Is it next week?
You said that last week.
We're planning something, boys. Don't worry.
Episode 99.
99.
0.9. So what was I saying? Oh, disgusting habits. We need to know
Disgusting
that
habits.
if we're going to live together for 4 days in a house. It's going to be like Big Brother.
I
We're
do
gonna be
make a
living-
lot of. I make a mess in the sink with toothpaste.
So you have your own bathroom.
Yeah.
It's only Tanya you have to worry about for that.
Potentially.
Always? It's just...
Yeah, I'll
do you
clean
mean?
it up, but I'm very sloppy with brushing.
Really?
Aggressive brushing, I do.
Interesting.
Are you disgusting in any way?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm a fairly cleanly person.
Stoff?
Not at all.
What about Katrina, your wife?
Katrina's got some habits, but we'll see.
Remember that video of the woman clipping her toes in the pool? Did you see that one?
No, that's disgusting.
It was a public pool. There's like 50 kids swimming, and she's clipping her toes in the pool.
People getting hit by shrapnel.
That is a baller move.
My eye.
Have you ever had a pedicure or a manicure?
Yes. I love pedicures.
Do you have them regularly?
So,
I do.
Once every 2 weeks.
Really?
Now. Yeah.
I get a pedicure done every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yes.
love
It's actually Puffy that does my feet.
Yeah.
And then I do his. If you want to talk about sharing.
Yeah. You don't?
Stoff, have you ever had one?
Nope.
See, I never have, but I just...
Wow.
I,
I'm kind
No,
of
the best.
surprised the man of your ilk.
Well, here, I'm terrified to go the first time because I think as part of our sharing circle that my feet are a little disgusting. I've lost every one of my toenails from... I think it's from football. I don't know if I have my cleats too small for
Probably
years or
too
whatever,
small.
but when you ram your feet into the shoe and then the toenail turns black and dies and falls off, like
Yeah.
this middle finger one is going to do
Oh,
to me at some
yes,
point.
yes.
And so I think that my toes are kind of disgusting because they're half of them they grow back in slowly, so there's kind of half without any nails. And sorry, I don't mean to gross the
But
listeners
it's
out.
a reason to go get a
I
manicure.
know, but I'm
Because
scared that the woman. I'm so self-conscious that she's
No,
going to say these are the
those
most
people must have seen the
disgusting
worst
feet
things in the
ever."
world. Yeah, I
You
don't think you have
think?
to worry. Yeah.
I'm okay.
No, you're like as bad as you.
I'll tell you
think
what I'm
you
gonna
are,
do.
You're probably middle of the
I'm going to
pack.
get my pedicure in the next 2 weeks, and then we'll talk about it on the pod if I
You know
enjoyed
what?
it or not.
You know what? It'd be a
Manicures-
fantastic group activity down at the
Together.
Waimara.
Yeah, we should.
to the spa
to
to
the
get
spa,
manicures and
yes.
pedicures. That's a
Huh?
little bit.
That might be
Come
pricey
on.
at the Waimara, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, look at the Waimara. Everything is priced very fairly there.
Yes, edit point.
Wow.
It's fantastic.
It only costs that much. What a steal!
So I was playing the golf. The reason I was late today, and most of the time I have wonderful partners that I play golf with. I play golf with Troy and Brad regularly. Sean McKenzie,
Yes.
David Amber, all those guys. I play with these guys on Saturday. Nick and Stu and Steve. I think Steve listened to the pod, or he claims to. So this is going to be my test.
Yes, it's gonna be a
His
test.
name's
We'll
Blue.
see.
He's my boy, Blue.
Never
Blue
never
Steve.
bring it up. And if he doesn't come correct
he won't
soon,
come clean. So all great
He's a
guys.
liar.
But you know how sometimes we've talked about this, you get paired with other guys at times. So I get with my buddy today, and we get paired with these two other guys. And I literally spent 4 hours with Captain Obvious.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
He knew me, recognized me, whatever. I guess he was a little charged up or whatever.
big fan.
But he wanted to tell me all his opinions on sports, which is fine. Anybody who meets me is welcome to do this. But they were the most obvious opinions in the history of sport. And he told them to me like it was Bob McKenzie breaking something earth-shattering that I'd never heard before.
Was
like
he thinking that you might get him a gig at the office?
It started with this. It started with, look at James. I'm telling you, Matthews has a chance to score 50 this year.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
That's what he started with. And I'm like, okay, yeah, he's got 5 in 3 games. He's off to a terrific start. He's a really good goal scorer. No, I'm saying he has a chance to score 50. I'm like, oh, okay, excellent. He goes, the Raptors. You know who you got to watch this year? Who you really want to watch on the Raptors? And in my head, I'm saying, okay, Patrick McKay or
or
maybe
OG. Anunoby
I would have
coming back.
accepted OG, even
Yeah.
that's obvious.
Sure.
Pascal Siakam
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
really emerged last year, and now without Kawhi there, I think he has a chance to really be the leader on this team. I'm like, are you kidding?
Wow.
And
See, you're in a tough position because you want to be courteous, you want to be nice and everything, but at the same time,
And golf's a challenge,
Yeah.
especially walking golf. Okay, if you're in a cart with golf and you're with your buddy and they're with their buddies, you only talk on the tee maybe.
Yeah.
Walking golf, there's 4 hours out there.
yes.
Then he gets to the Senators, and he says,
This is your pesky send.
"Oh, yeah,"
Yes.
and he's like, "Here's the guy you really got to look for this year. Here's the guy you got to watch. His name's Eric Brandstrom." And he goes, they got him in the Mark Stone deal.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Do you not know this is what I do? He's the #1 defensive prospect in hockey. And he acted like I did not know who the guy was.
Wow. It's too bad. It's too bad.
The Jets, James, they're going to have trouble He lost a bunch of D-men.
Thanks,
It
Captain
just was endless. I was just like, I'm knocking my head against the
Should have said
microphone.
that,
for all
you know what? We're thinking about bringing in like a fan to be on our panel who's got really good ideas.
If the guy had a sense of humor, I said, we're going to have you on the podcast as Captain Obvious, and you can come out. Well, you'll call in every week, and you give me your insight.
One thing to look forward. That Tom Brady,
I just wanted to kill myself.
Patriots, they could do business in January.
Thanks,
Do
Captain Obvious.
you have like a kind of like a shutdown type of saying? Like for example, sometimes people come up to me at a gig and they're talking, and my whole thing is like, "Hey, what's your name? Oh, Sean. Great to meet you, Sean. Thank you." And I'm out.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
No,
Right now,
I will do that
it's
too.
a little
I'll
bit
go,
different.
Hey, no, really, I just do a hey. Awesome to meet you, and if there's a lingering conversation that you have at events, hey, great to meet you, and most people are super nice with that.
Yeah.
But you're stuck on a golf course.
Yeah.
So mostly, I intentionally tried to hit the ball the other way. If he's down the middle, I went left.
Oh my god,
That's my excuse.
That's terrible.
Anyway, Captain Obvious, his name was.
Oh, maybe you should tell his
Phil.
name. No.
His name was. I don't think he's going to listen to the pod.
All right, well.
And you know what? If he
now
listens,
that he's good friends with James Duthie,
if he's going to listen to the pod, or if he's telling his buddies that he played with me, maybe someone have a nice little talk with Phil. Say, hey, nice guy, really nice guy, respect you, but I don't know.
Pick your spots, Phil.
Yeah, pick your spots.
Pick your spots.
Develop
or
a
go out on a limb.
Go out on a
you're
limb once
with.
in a while.
Know who you're with,
Phil.
brother.
Let's get to the week that was, brought to you by idrinkcoffee.com.
Let's discuss the week that was with James Duthie and the Rubber Boots Podcast crew. And the Rubber Boots Podcast crew.
I want to start with our fine producer on the week that was, because he just came back from another one of his Jay and Dan. We give Jay and Dan an awful lot of promos in this pod.
You know what?
I don't think they
never mentioned
jack.
They never even heard of us.
They act like we don't
Never
even
mind.
exist on their pod.
I do listen to you guys. I'm faithful, as I know you guys listen to the Rubber Boots Pod every week.
Big time. Yeah, I like Jim. I like Todd. I like Billy. I like all those guys.
Stoff was on the road with Jay and Dan, and we only mentioned that because there was some crossover content you needed to tell us about.
Yeah, I actually met quite a bit of our fans on the tour. People who said they listen to both podcasts and are big fans of Rubber Boots. So
Do you think
shout
that
out to all of them.
All of them that are in that group, would they come see us if we went on the road? We need to find out if there's an audience.
I think so.
do
They're
our
pretty.
own
They're pretty
tour.
into it. A lot of people asked about my car. That was pretty cool. But the key part happened, I think, we do a Q&A at the end of each show.
Right.
And so one guy went up there and said he listens to both podcasts. And then he brought up, I believe this was in episode 2 of this season, your hypothetical with the firemen.
If there was a fire at TSN,
Yes.
all of the anchors, let's say all of the anchors were here. You gotta run out of the building. You may only be able to save one. There's a chance in your head that you can get back and get 2 or 3. Right.
And he brought that up to one Dan O'Toole.
That was the one, Lester, you weren't around for when we said who.
Right, yes, I
what
remember.
commentators
I
would
listened- I listened to the show.
Puffy safe
And I
fire.
believe Puffy's quote was, "Let's be clear, Dan is not getting out of the room."
I'll make this clear. Dan O'Toole's not leaving the room.
And how did Dan react to that?
He wasn't too pleased.
And did you not have someone want to meet and greet you? Did they do a meet and greet
Yeah,
too?
they do a meet and greet, and I actually had someone from the theater come and usher me in because someone wanted to meet the producer of both podcasts.
Wow.
Look at that, eh?
Yeah.
What was her name?
Fandom.
What was her name?
I think Jonathan. He was good looking.
You had
Handsome to a fault.
you had some issues on your flight home.
Well, yeah, there was issues seated directly behind me. We were delayed taking off from Edmonton as basically they had to get a guy off the plane because he was too hammered and causing quite a bit of trouble.
What was he doing? Just being a belligerent drunk?
So I don't know how exactly it started because I had my headphones in. I clued into the situation when the guy himself actually called over one of the flight attendants and asked to be moved. The reason he asked to be moved was because he was offended that the lady next to him asked him to stop touching her.
Wow.
You should have seen the look.
This is my kind of guy.
You should have seen the look on the flight attendant's face. So they moved the lady, and we were sitting there for like about 20 more minutes. A couple guys told him to shut up, and
Nice.
finally the cops came on and got him.
Good.
Is that Jay and Dan? Did they stand up to him?
Get off my plane.
No, they were further back of the plane.
They weren't in the pods by chance?
No, there's no pods from Edmonton. I tried.
Wow,
No.
that's too bad.
Did I ever tell you guys, this was back to when Mark Ward and I were flying to Halifax, and we must have been 22, 23 years old. And there was, in the lounge, getting on the plane, there was this man, and he kind of reminded me of Santa Claus, at least in my memory. He had a big beard, and he was clearly a Vietnam vet, because he had like a Vietnam vet T-shirt, huge pot belly, and he was gazongoed. He had this massive pitcher of beer, and traveling with him was his teenage daughter. She must have been maybe 15 or 16, and she was horrified that her father was completely hammered, hammered. So we get on the plane, and there's this delay, and I'm looking. There's like 2 seats empty on the plane. Oh, no. And me and Mark are in one row, and there's one empty seat in our row. And I'm like, oh God, no, oh God, no. Sure enough, the guy stumbles on his plane with his daughter, who's like in tears, and the daughter is about 6 rows behind us, and he is between us in the middle seat. Middle seat. Well, I guess we'd asked for the aisle and the thing.
Smart move.
So
out of the window.
Yeah, so he's in the middle seat. So he is completely gonzoed, and I was terrified. I get uncomfortable in situations like that, right?
Well, most people would.
And so he kept yelling to his daughter, right? He's like, "Hey, Christina, what's going on back there? Hey, who are you talking to? Christina, hey, that's my daughter. Take my daughter, please." He starts making jokes, right?
Oh, wow.
And then he's trying to light up a cigarette.
Oh my God!
Is this like 1962?
No, it would be probably 87, 88. Smoking is long since banned on the airplane, and so he's trying to light up a cigarette, and the flight attendants are all panicked. And I think today he would have gotten kicked off the plane, but he didn't at that time. So he's trying to light a cigarette. They stop him, and he sticks his cigarette. It's broken in half now, and he sticks it in his pocket, and then he puts it back in his mouth. And so he's got this broken cigarette sitting in his mouth. He refuses to take it out of his mouth. That's his.
That's where he drew the line.
That's his rebel thing.
Wow.
But I remember he got kind of funny because the plane was then delayed for like 45 minutes, and we're sitting there, and he's going, "Oh, what's going on? What's going on? Oh. And then he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a toothpick and he looks at me and goes, "Maybe they need this." But then, like during the flight, he passes out, and then he starts having like dreams, and they were like Vietnam. Like he's like,
oh no,
he's like doing the bazooka.
Oh my God!
And Mark was terrified. He just pretended he was asleep the whole time, and that was my drunk guy on the flight. So at least you weren't in the row with him, Stoff, on that way. A week that was. Any events you want to share with us, gentlemen?
I was out in Brantford playing a couple of home of Wayne Gretzky, Walter Gretzky there, playing with Elton Ron again. A couple of great shows there. Some fun people.
Jammed.
It's good.
Puffy,
Fun.
everything good?
I went to the Toronto Maple Leafs and Montreal Canadiens game.
You were a big Leafs fan.
Yes.
For new listeners, date night with Tanya.
Night.
No kids this time.
No kids.
Because I usually see you there with all your children.
Yeah, they were screwed. They tried to like cut me out too. Barrett's like, "Come on, don't take him. Take me. I'm way more fun."
And so date night at a hockey game.
So,
kind of proud of that.
The beer was flowing for me.
Delilah. But did Tanya get a little tipsy?
She was drinking the wine.
Who was tipsier?
We were both pretty blottoed by the end of the night. But during the game,
yes.
I had a big issue.
Were you in a box, by the way?
We were in a box.
Because Puffy's wife, if we haven't discussed, is a big-time executive.
She's a mover and a shaker.
At a rival company.
Yeah,
big shot.
And, so you're in the box.
And
free booze. The booze just flows in the box.
The Maple Leaf Game Ops crew were absolutely horrendous.
Okay.
What?
There was like 0 replays. You had no idea what was going on. And when the Montreal Canadiens scored, they put music on. It sounded like it was like the World Juniors and the Danes scored, and there was like some like retro like hip hop music going, and it was like, this is our home barn. It should be silence when the Canadiens scored, beside the Montreal fans going nuts.
Yeah.
And the Leafs were like playing music for Montreal scoring.
You were angry?
I couldn't believe it. Especially as the goals got piling in. I didn't mind at 4.
Did you have your 34 jersey on?
No jersey. I didn't. I
Do
don't.
you currently have a current Leafs jersey?
I have Leaf jerseys. I don't put numbers or names.
Oh, never?
Really?
Not anymore.
Lester, what would be your most recent Habs jersey? Would you have one?
I actually have a Subban 96, 76. Yes,
76.
That was a gift though. But I'm like Puff. I don't. If I buy something, I won't put.
I
a
cheer.
number.
Did you put
for the
your own
front
name
of
on the
jersey.
back?
No, those are the worst people.
And would you put Puffy?
Oh God!
And then get
double
noticed?
0 or 69. Those would be the only two numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, so your message here is that game ops
be better.
pick things up.
Might be their first. They might have switched over staff or something, but do not play pump up jams when the opposition scores.
Also in the week that was Friday, we thought the Pepsi ad was airing.
Yes.
Puffy and Stoff's national television debut. Lester's going to have to wait a little bit, but I was wrong on that.
I told my kids.
Promoted it on the podcast and then on the social media.
Yeah.
And then we found out it was not until Monday. And so, Stoff, your wife watched it.
I was in Calgary and I got an angry text from my wife who watched an entire Leaf game and didn't see me.
That's disappointing.
Yes.
Anyway, it aired Monday. It was a big hit.
Huge.
Big hit.
I'll be honest with you. I found it lacking.
Lacking a little color.
Yes, perhaps it could have been a little bit better.
The hamstring is cramping.
Somebody that I.
Seriously, do you need me to?
Yeah, could you massage it?
To chop it out?
Would you massage it for me? If I like did the reverse, like
no,
my leg back up on the desk,
listen
backwards.
No.
I don't think you want to do a reverse anything right now.
It's like seriously
We'll stretch it out.
Oh my
I can't.
God!
Well, I'm trying to do the.
Have some water.
Thank God. Nice socks, brother.
Thank you.
The most I would do is I would do that.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like the guy in the
pushing
football
back.
season.
He's pushing back on my toes.
Where they
just gotta-
they walk by and they just like pull the foot a bit. I ain't like getting in there.
You're in good shape though, buddy. I could see through your shirt there. You got a nice.
I hope we got a camera going because it's a
six-pack?
great angle for me.
Six-pack.
Oh God!
Put that.
But how your muscles can't cramp out from? It's because I was having to walk at a brisk pace to get rid of Captain Obvious this morning. Get out of there. One more thing on the week that was. I needed your help on something, Puffy. I spent my weekend. I went down to visit Darian at the University of Guelph.
Oh, how's she doing?
My daughter. She's in res first year.
Nice. Everything's
Also
going good.
Yeah, and Jared was down visiting his girlfriend, so we had a nice little lunch.
Is it a co-ed res?
Yes.
Is it a like boy room, girl room, boy girl room?
I don't
or are they
think
like
it's-
floors, or it doesn't matter. It's a bit of a free for all.
So she is in a suite with 12 people.
Sweet.
Oh, okay.
Now, within the suite, I don't think it's really any different than normal, typical hallways because you're in a suite, but you have your own individual room. So there's some rooms that have 2 people in them, some that have 1. There's about, I think, 5 guys and 7 girls or something.
Does it have a bit of a Three's Company vibe?
Little kitchen, little
What's the
kitchenette.
washroom situation?
So there's, I think, 3 washrooms for the 12 people and 2 showers.
Ooh.
And
That's not that many showers.
right. So
Has
here's
she made friends?
They're all very friendly. There was a few of them there. I got to meet a couple of the boys that
Yeah.
are in the group.
Yeah,
You
must
must
give
have
him a
big
stern
star
look
there,
and
hey?
a handshake.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I'm wondering about. So I'm like, what's going on, Darian? Any romances in the suite or anything? No, we're all just friends. We just hang out.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't like that word. Hang out.
You know what the big number is Thanksgiving.
What do you mean?
That's when everyone goes
Turkey
home
dumps.
to dump their significant
Yeah, the
others.
turkey
And then
dump.
there's a lot of the hooking up.
Oh, so the
when they
hooking
get
up
back.
doesn't
When you come
happen.
back.
Right now, there probably hasn't been a ton post turkey dump.
Does she have a
lot.
boyfriend now in Toronto?
She does not have a boyfriend.
Oh,
All right.
But here's the thing: is that they always. I feel like the kids are all just friends now. My wife always says it to me. Oh, they just all hang out now. There's none of that. And I'm going. Well, of course there is. They're 18, 19 years
Yeah.
old. They have. But do you think like?
yes, they're doing stuff.
Listen, I don't think everybody's doing
I don't know.
stuff.
Maybe Darian's not because she was raised
But
right.
there's stuff going on in.
But
the
there's
suite.
stuff she's seeing things.
The
that-
shower situation.
Yeah, there's stuff going
Concerns
on when
me.
she's in the little hall watching her shows. Those rooms are rocking.
Interesting.
That's
Because
right.
her best friend Emma is also next door.
Oh,
also
is Emma
very
single?
attractive. They're both very attractive. Both single.
Oh,
Let's put it this way: there's a lot of boom.
I think there's.
Why would you do that?
Did any?
Why would you do that?
Did any of the guys give you kind of like a smirk when they?
Not her
shook
though.
your
Not
hand?
her.
Because those guys are like, I know what that smirk's about.
Do you think though?
I don't think you
done
need
that
to be
one
advertising
many a
that they're
time.
attractive either
Yeah.
on this podcast. That might not be a great idea.
Look,
No,
if
seriously.
you go to the University of Guelph and you listen to the podcast and you meet Darian, treat her with respect. She's a wonderful girl.
Yeah.
Listen,
Same with Emma.
And then listen, because that's right, because the four of us will come down and beat your ass. if
Yeah,
you don't.
2 seconds
That's
ago
right.
you were like, "Mount, chicken,
Yeah,
But that's not your daughter. That's other people.
I
That's
do
other people,
agree.
not your daughter.
I do agree that we need to go to the residence and check it out.
Well, the guys asked me if I'd come
That
down
won't be
and party.
creepy at all.
The guys asked me if I'd come down and party one night.
Yeah.
and like stay
You
over at
have
the
to
residence.
let me come.
Would I?
Live pod. Let's
That's
do
sort
it.
of my dream. I don't have a lot left.
So, do you think you and me should go down and
Yes.
and sleep on the couches at the
Yeah,
res?
like we'll sleep in like the main,
Wow.
the main
That
like
would be
common
a
area.
disaster.
It'll be
But it
so
would
much
be
fun.
It would be a lot of content
Yeah.
for the pod.
You'd be like Frank the Tank.
We
and
have to
then
do this.
An old school.
Puffy,
Yeah,
Frank, that's it.
it would be a great time for all.
We're gonna
Hold on. You said there's 5 guys and
7. I think it's 5, 7.
We need to even out those numbers.
Wow.
Now when
And one of the guys on the football team, one of the offensive linemen, is in the room too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Darian says he's the sweetest guy. She said that. Like she caught him the other day on his headphones, and he was watching a Pitch Perfect 2. And he was like singing the song, like his 310-pound offensive lineman.
that means that's her boyfriend, James.
Yeah.
She saw him because they were just making.
I think listen.
Not ready. I can't handle this stuff.
Let me say this in all seriousness, because that's one of my character.
Yeah.
I believe that you and Brooksy have raised a fine daughter. Your values are such that I don't think your daughter's going to go there and go buck wild.
Right.
But the only issue is no parents are perfect, and you have 3 kids.
But she might.
One of them's got to be
Wild?
a little bit wild. Because Jimmy, you were a bit of a wild card.
Well, Jared is like he'll party now. Darian was showing me the Snapchats that he had sent her during homecoming weekend the week before. And they were just your typical out of control bunch of guys.
Now,
partying.
do they?
He was like, Darian, come over, it's crazy.
Is there any kind of mixing as far as like hanging out at the bars, or do they kind of?
Darian's not of age yet, so.
Oh,
she's 18.
Oh.
Jared's 19, so he.
But she goes to the bars.
I wouldn't be offended if she did. Like, I don't know if she's got the fake ID. Or
I'm sure she does.
So we're going to plan a trip down to the University of Guelph Res.
Perfect. The sooner the better.
I would like to tag along.
Would you like to come too?
I would love to be there.
Maybe
Honestly,
the 4 of us.
It's not even.
Maybe
so
we'll
much,
cancel Weimara and just go to Guelph Residence.
It's not so much for you; it's for him, just to watch him. You know what I mean?
I have so much
Puffy would
fun.
be in fine form.
I've never been to Guelph. I've always wanted to go there.
Fine school. Excellent school.
Is it?
Do you ever hear that story about Rodman, Dennis Rodman?
No.
He would have when he was on the road, he'd have 2 bedrooms. So he'd have his room, and then next to him, he'd have another room that was attached, and he'd have like one of his boys or whatever. So he'd go in. So let's say he picks up a girl on the road, he goes in, and the other guy's beside them. And then the minute he hears something's maybe going outside, he's in there, gets her out of there. That's it, cab, boom, whatever. So just to keep Rodman in check. So that's what I'm proposing for Puffy. We should have that type
Rodman
of situation.
was shockingly available for appearances. I did this appearance in Calgary a few years ago. It was a dinner, and Barry Sanders was there.
Yeah.
And Barry Sanders, I think, probably got paid $50,000 or something. That's what these guys get paid.
Sure. Yeah.
Jimmy got a much lesser fee to come and interview Barry Sanders. So they told me like the next year, whoever they had bailed, and they got Rodman for like $5,000.
Really?
Yeah, to fly in from wherever the heck he is.
Wow.
And it was a disaster. Like he was just told way offside stories. Half the audience loved and half the audience walked out.
Yeah.
But like 5 G's. That's cheap for these guys. That's the
Jimmy ain't getting out of bed for 5 G's.
no
You know what I'm
shot,
saying?
baby. One other thing, while we're on the topic, Gracie just came back from Washington, a school trip.
Did she
to Washington?
get in Trump's face at all?
I don't think she ran into the Donalds.
Oh, okay.
Sadly. But was I talking about this on the pod last week or with you personally? Same question. Like I went on a grade 11 trip to New York City.
Yes.
And it was out of hand.
Yes.
We had a party in one of our rooms. I have no idea where the teachers were.
Yeah.
And I told you it because I remember that this one really hot girl at our school was at the party, and this trip was in the wintertime, and she was wearing a bikini at the party.
Which is very much what would happen at a grade 11 road
made no
trip.
sense.
Fantastic.
And yet Gracie said like nothing.
So nothing.
Like
She's
10
not
p.m.
just-
curfew. So I'm wondering, is this just Now,
You had a good run, man. That's just.
was ours just a more innocent time?
Yes.
No, I mean less
but
innocent time.
I can't imagine that.
I think kids are more responsible.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they let them get away with stuff now.
No chance.
They lock it down much more.
Are you saying no chance that I'm accurate?
Yeah,
I think you're being optimistic.
Yeah, you might just be living in some fantasy world.
You're living in a world of make-believe with flowers and bells and leprechauns and magic frogs with funny little hats.
I don't know.
I remember.
That's why we need to go to Guelph to get to the bottom of this.
This is right.
Have I become my dad that I don't? I think everybody's living above board.
Remember all the stuff that you did behind
God.
your dad's back, and your dad didn't know nothing.
Worst ever. We had one New Year. My dad was very strict for all the listeners, strict RCMP. And I think when I was 17, there was this, our party was over in Hull, our New Year's Eve party. It was like crazy.
Don't get me started.
And I just told him, I said, Dad, I'm just going down to my buddy James Curley's to sleep for the night. And I was like out until 7 o'clock in the morning and cop cars involved.
Oh, man.
Come back at 10 the next day with my suit like stuck in my knapsack because I just like walked over to James Curley's in my pajamas earlier. He's like, how was your night? I'm like, good, Dad. No, I just watched a movie. What movie did you watch? I'm like, we just watched that movie on Movie Channel. It was like Porky's. And then he pulls out the guide. He's like, Porky's was not on last night. Anyway, that's the way. I had to do a lot of stuff behind my dad's back, which I told him in later years.
But that's sort of what you need to do. Like that's what it's kids' job.
Yeah, you don't want
to try to get away from it, and parents to find out.
Right. I'd rather not know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
I hope my kids are up to no good. That they're trying to do stuff.
But safe, no good.
Safe,
you don't want to
safe, no good. And daughters are different than sons for whatever reason.
Hey, listen,
shouldn't be, but
I was on a trip to Scotland, and I know a couple of women came back pregnant.
I don't think any of us expected him to say that.
Not by me. I'm just saying. But I'm just saying. When I was in high school, that's what I was saying. That's how. Yeah, man. Yeah. Not by me. Just you're looking at me like I did
Scotland, and 2 girls came back pregnant.
2 girls came back pregnant. That's right.
Whoa.
Wow. Yeah. That's a good trip.
You guys got me terrified. Let's get to our sharing circle. That was the week that was brought to you by our friends at idrinkcoffee.com.
The sharing circle. It feels so good when we share. Because it shows that we care.
You know, when I wrote you a text last night and I said, I want to do a sharing circle so we can really get to know each other intimately, and, intimately before we go to the Weimara. That was exactly what I envisioned as the sharing circle song. It would be like a kids show. The sharing circle, where kids get around in a little circle and they share stories.
And that's it.
That's like
magic of Lester McLean.
That song was for his album 3 years ago. You already had
That's on the Hello album. Do you want to share first?
I am going to share first. You asked me about this last night.
Yeah, I want to embarrassing stories, things that have haunted you, maybe from things that you don't share with a lot of people that you're willing to share with us and our friendly listeners.
Okay, this is first year university. I am 19 or 20 years old, and I'm in, I had the sociology class, and I have to tell you, to this day, this woman, I would call her a friend still, but she is one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life.
Was she on the Scotland trip?
She was not on the Scotland trip. I didn't know her.
I so wish I was on that Scotland trip.
I know, that feels like an awesome trip.
That was a big miss by us.
Yeah, well, no, actually, that was a good trip. I was 18 in Scotland, and that was great. It was a music trip, actually.
All right.
But anyway, getting back to this situation. So I'm in this class, and I'm seeing her week in, week out. I haven't had a chance to say hello yet. I haven't had a chance to figure out how I'm going to approach her. So I finally decide that, after class on this specific day, I'm going to go say hi.
Okay.
Just to say hi. You know what I mean? So I remember, the class is over, we're dismissed, whatever. I'm putting my books in my bag and whatever. And I see she's going to leave. So I'm staying true to my word. I got to go talk to her. So I get up, I fling my books over my bag over my shoulder. It wasn't an Adidas bag, it was something else. And in my haste, I forgot to close the bag. Books everywhere. She looks back and sees me, and I got this look on my face like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed, whatever. And she left. I never could talk to her. So, but
And that was it?
That was it.
And you never got the nerve up again?
Well, I eventually talked to her after, but I had to wait a couple of weeks. So hopefully, she forgot about this. But
I got her
but other people, but then other people behind me saw this happen too. So it actually shattered my confidence for quite some time.
Those things are big.
Yeah.
What I was going to share with you today, I'm going to go back to grade school. I was the new kid. I came to Glen Ogilvie Public School in Gloucester, Ontario. That would be Gloucester, in grade 3. And I had a cool jean jacket, but it had an STP sticker on the back. I may have talked about this on the pod before.
Like
STP,
the motor oil?
The motor oil.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Sure.
But some of the kids called me stinky toilet paper. STP.
Oh.
So we had
Kids are mean.
Creative kids.
we had a show and tell class. Basically, we had to bring clippings or something from a newspaper to say you were up, current events type of thing. And whoever won got this big stuffed animal at their table. And when you're in grade 3 or 4, that's a big deal. I felt like it was the biggest thing in my life was to keep this stuffed animal at my table. And I forgot my clippings one day. So I tried to go home at lunch on my bike. And a mob of kids stopped me. Like, were chasing me through the schoolyard so I couldn't get my clippings to win this stuff. They were pulling me off the bike.
What?
And I was sobbing. Like, I don't get my clippings. And they're like, no, stinky toilet paper, stinky toilet. They were chanting stinky
like
toilet
Mark
paper.
Ward?
Wow.
Was he part of this
He was
mob?
not part because he was my best friend, but they were pulling me off the bike and tearing away at me, and I was sobbing and crying, and then they were all making fun of me for crying. And that moment has stuck with me forever. Like, I still have, whenever you guys, team up against me, I think of the stinky toilet paper.
Wow.
And the mob that pulled me back.
That's heavy.
I eventually did make it home, got my clippings.
And the rest is history.
Yeah. And then I came back into the class and they were all like, yeah, you were crying. Stinky toilet paper was crying.
Did you get the stuffed animal?
I don't remember.
Didn't matter. The victory
How is this
was going
helping
home to
us
get
have
the
a better
clippings.
time in Weimara?
No, it's just me
I'm crying
confessing
right now.
things that have hurt me in my soul. And so sometimes when I need comforting, when I'm drunk at the Weimara, you'll put your arm around me.
Around the is
We're
there,
gonna be
is there
sitting
an outdoor fire pit?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Right by the ocean. buddy.
God.
You're going to put your
right
arm
by the
around me,
ocean.
and you're going to say, Jimmy, you're not stinky toilet paper at all.
You smell quite nice.
Yeah.
No.
And I
Your
would
toes
never
look
chase you
amazing.
and pull you off your bike.
pedicure.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't do any mean things like that to you, Jimmy.
Kids are mean though.
So next week, you're going to have to bring something to the sharing circle. In season 1, you told the story about pooping your pants. That would be something you could share on the sharing circle.
I
Although
tell
you didn't really
most of
sound
my stories.
Yeah, you didn't sound too upset about
No.
that. It hasn't scarred you for life.
No, I mean,
you take baths.
happened.
It kind of
It's opened up new avenues.
You just roll with everything,
Yeah, it
don't you?
happened.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
the bath. I don't take a lot of bath. I still do take some baths, but now I have the hot tub.
Right.
I'm in the hot tub every day.
I think on
Every day.
episode 1 of the pod, I shared too much with the daddy baths. Remember that?
Yes, that was
Episode
great.
1, season 1 for the new listeners.
I'm not going to say I did take a call from child services about you.
We had a new listener write me this week on Twitter and said, I'm a new listener. I just started at the beginning of the season. I said, well, how does any of this crap make sense to you? Like, what does...
You'd have to start at episode 1.
I think you got to go back.
You did. I think you could jump in.
I don't think
Jump
you'll
in.
have to listen to all the 4 seasons.
Oh, I
but
didn't.
Maybe
Just
listen
kidding.
to the first one to find out who the hell you guys are.
You know how daunting it is now to start a new show that's 8 seasons long?
Oh,
imagine trying to start this podcast and get through 4 seasons.
I know, it is.
That would feel like homework.
I was going to get into this in What You Watching later, but I just started Ray Donovan.
Ray Donovan?
Finally,
Yes.
you told me to, and a million people. But I sat down with it a million times. I'm not going to start Ray Donovan. I love it. 3 episodes in, I love it.
Yeah. Mhm.
But you're right. It's like 7, 8 seasons or something like that.
So, that's for Game of Thrones for me. I'm like, I can't. It's like,
Nah, I can't.
feels like a lot of work.
It's like 200 hours worth of TV I had to watch.
There's a lot of work. It is.
Anyway, so that's your homework this week is to find something.
something.
Oh, it can be a happy memory.
See, I don't really have too much traumatic.
Well, why don't you
stuff that
bring a
happens.
happy memory?
I'll
to
be
the
honest
sharing
with you.
circle?
I'm hoping we're not letting Stoff off the hook. Too.
Oh, no,
This-
Stoff's
I
gotta bring
want-
something to share.
Listen, more than anybody else in this pod, that guy needs to open up.
He really does.
He's got a lot of trauma. Look at him.
I know. And he's so busy pressing buttons over there, we
I
don't
know.
give him enough, right?
No, it's true.
That's it. All of my darkest fears and everything I'm capable of. That's me.
Yikes. Well, good luck with all that.
I think down at Waimara, he's not going to have to press any buttons because we're just going to record it on my phone.
Beautiful.
And so it'll be free stuff.
Yeah, it'll be
just
free, freestyle stuff.
He's going to take over. That was the Waimara Sharing Circle, brought to you by our friends at the Waimara.
Don't wait till tomorrow. Book a villa at Waimara. The last time that I saw you, you looked like you need a vacation at Waimara. Waimara.
2 months. We're within 2 months now. What is?
Because today's October.
It's exactly months to the day.
Well, we're
Waimara.
We try not to give dates when we're taping a podcast because people like to think they're listening to it live.
Well, then it's close.
I was probably
then
wrong with the date.
Just beep out the number.
Yes.
And so we're 2 months away from our Waimara trip. We just can't wait for that. I had asked people, I think earlier on this season, I was talking about the podcast reviews.
Yes.
And how
on Apple iTunes.
Yeah, and so how some guy, had written something about bird mating.
Yes.
Right. So some guy went on Twitter. I call a lot of people some guys, don't I?
Yeah.
And said he wrote us a decent review to take over the first page. So now currently the first page of the podcast reviews is from Steve Stern. Says, I really like this podcast. Haven't missed an episode and gave it 5 stars, but I don't really know why. I suppose part of it is that I'm a TSN guy and watched and listened to these professionals for a long time. Professionals is in quotation marks.
Nice.
It's familiar, like beef stew.
Oh, nice.
The pod is led by the incomparable, his words, James Jimmy Duthie. This is a long review. After a few listens, you get the feeling that Jimmy is much more than a well-spoken, okay-looking guy. Who has obviously never colored his hair and hasn't had any work done on his face yet. You get that feeling, and then he'll go on a 5-minute tangent about his compound or villa at Waimara. Jimmy's faithful sidekick, Puffy, brings the, quote, everyman, unquote, to the show. Nice. He's just a good dude, good father, good friend, who may or may not have a drinking issues and a gambling problem. Adding rhythm and flavor is straight man Lester, a veritable musical genius. Without Lester, the show would have no jingles, theme songs, or someone who can't get really, really serious. For example, if Jimmy were to tell Lester a joke, it would go like this. Jimmy, hey Lester, why couldn't Stevie Wonder see his friends? Lester, I don't know. Jimmy, why? Jimmy, because he was married. Lester,
pretty good.
Lester, well, I think Mrs. Wonder is a wonderful lady, and besides that, Stevie's blind and had to overcome a lot of obstacles to get where he is today. Last but certainly not least is Stoff, the producer. Soft-spoken, Stoff waits for his spots, and it's always magic. He puts episodes together that really shouldn't be online or offline. Without Stoff, the show falls off a cliff. Somehow, some way, these 4 distinct personalities come together to discuss their lives, TV shows, very little sports, what they saw on Twitter, etc., 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 and it works. I am a loyal follower and hope they keep it coming for years to come.
Wow,
that's great.
Is nice.
How about that?
I'll be honest with you, I'd like to get a copy of that because I'm going to use that this evening, if you know what I mean.
I don't think any of us expected him to say that.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
For the magic I provide?
I'm scared to know what it means.
I have no idea. Did you mean you're going to masturbate to that?
Just kidding.
Or is he?
I think that was for the last segment.
I never read. I literally read that.
Yeah.
For the first time on the air.
Wow, that's great.
Then,
That is really nice.
There's all sorts of new ones. Jimmy, what? This guy says, awesome pod, guys. One thing is Lindsay Hamilton single, and can you expose her cell phone number to the listeners?
No, we can't.
Yes and no. There's my 2 answers to that.
Is she single?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she had a man.
There we go. So brand new reviews on the front
that
page.
one was that's a great one.
Dougie, what was his bright-eyed Dougie is but a distant memory to
Screw
us.
you, bright-eyed.
Okay, let's get through a few things quickly here because I have to do an interview for my other life shortly here. A quick version of things that I saw on Twitter.
Freaky pics, strange chicks, world affairs, polar bears, fake news, nice shoes, big boobs, jack dudes. All of these things and more as I sat on the shitter. Things that I saw on Twitter.
We spent a lot of time last week discussing candy in the theaters.
Yes.
All these different how cheese slices are being eaten in Wisconsin. Had somebody, by the way, say they eat cheese slices exactly the same way as me, cutting out the 4 corners and then twirling it into the shape of a boot. Apparently, that whole thing that Stoff got off Twitter was a lie.
So these aren't real.
They're not really eating baked beans in North Dakota or something.
Who knew Twitter would
I'm
lie
still
to
going to
us?
investigate that.
Okay,
we should head to North Dakota after we do Guelph.
Yeah, Guelph. That's going to be our speaking tour.
Apparently, some guy from Barstool just put that up, and everybody bought it because it was on like all the newscasts. In other news, a bizarre survey about theater.
It seemed pretty legit.
It kept popping up everywhere. I'm like, wow, we were the first ones to get to this.
Yeah,
wow. We
were the first suckers.
We broke lies.
Fall for it.
We break lies. Stoff found something on Twitter from Justin Smoke's wife. Justin Smoke, the soon-to-be former Blue Jay.
Yep.
Did a great job while he was here.
A big Smoke guy.
She just, it's a picture, guys. I don't know if you can see it, of the toilet paper on top of the thing.
Oh,
and she just says, after 9 years of marriage, this is one of the things I learned wasn't worth the fight. So this is the way Justin Smoke, basically puts his toilet paper on top of the roll thing. Doesn't actually bother to attach it to the roll
There's
thing.
a decent chance. Like, there's some guys that are just not at all inclined for figuring out anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be he doesn't know how
to put it. But that's a lazy man's, like, if you come in our bathroom, like if we buy the Costco or wherever you go, your grocery store, you buy the bag of the Charmin.
Yeah.
Cottonelle Charmin.
Yeah.
That's what I like on my buttocks.
Yeah, it's nice.
Oh, the Kirkland's not as soft, right?
No.
That's like sandpaper on your buttocks, isn't it?
I don't know.
So anyway,
I can't. I have to. I'm happy to do an A/B comparison at some point.
we just stick it. We just stick the bag of like 20 rolls of toilet paper in the bathroom, and it just stays like that till it's empty. We're not.
You don't ever put it on a hook or?
I try, but Brooksy's does. Brooksy, for all she cleans herself up well, but she's kind of a mess in the house. So there's
better not be that way at the Weimara.
Yeah.
See, that's the way I think it should be.
What do you mean?
I don't care for the toilet paper on the holder thing either.
Why?
I don't know.
It rolls off nice.
I keep it behind me on the actual
on the toilet.
Yeah,
It's often where Brooksy will put it too.
And then you just pick it up and then take it off.
My wife hates it though. She's like, and she has a specific way that she thinks that the toilet paper should fold over, because you know how it can fold over to the back or the front.
Gotta be the front. What do you mean?
I think I'm
what do you mean?
pull under.
I don't know. Some people do. Some people go the other way.
In Australia, it goes the other way.
Well played. I got you. That was good.
What else was on the Twitter this week? On this day 13 years ago, Dexter premiered on TV after early seasons received massive acclaim. Its series finale was universally panned, receiving an F from the AV Club. Why don't we transition right from things that I saw on Twitter into what you watching?
What you watching? Just between you and me, what you streaming on your TV? Let me see. What you watching? Action, drama, comedy, what you streaming on your TV?
Yeah, we just mixed two segments together. This was something off Twitter, and Stoff is the Dexter. By the way, is one of my all-time favorite shows.
Really?
Season 4 of Dexter with
John Lithgow.
John Lithgow as the killer is one of the best seasons of any show on television.
I found
John
that
Lithgow's
extremely disturbing.
as creepy as it gets.
Yeah.
But after that season, it kind of went.
100%. It went completely south.
Yeah, that was an incredible season.
As soon as the sister found out basically about him, the whole show was over.
Yeah.
And the finale was probably the worst finale.
Wow, how did it end?
It ended, spoiler alert, people. If you haven't watched Dexter by now, wake the hell up. He drives into a storm. You know, the boat was where he always dumped his bodies off of. And it looks like he's killing himself. His sister died.
He killed his sister.
He goes to the hospital. He didn't kill her, did he?
Yeah, he did.
I don't
know. I think she just died, didn't she? Or did he smother her or something?
No,
she was like a
she was
vegetable.
on life support.
Yeah, and
but then he took her off, and then he dumped her in the ocean.
Yeah. So, but he was driving into a storm, and everybody thought he was just driving out to kill himself. And then suddenly it was Alaska, some logging camp, and there he was, just sitting there staring out the window. That was the end.
What's bad about that?
And kill some loggers.
It was just stupid. If they had a movie or something afterwards, maybe it would have made sense.
The premise of the whole series is outstanding, but I mean,
everything runs out of steam. Here's the thing:
there's only so much of that you could execute, right?
Shows should almost limit themselves to like 5 seasons,
3 seasons.
Certain shows you can explore.
Especially ones where there's a storyline. Sitcoms are a little different because you can have a longer
The Office,
run.
Seinfeld, Friends, you can go forever.
But
right?
a lot of these shows, it feels like it's it's planned for 2 or 3 seasons, and then it does well, and they start adding stuff on.
Perfect example is Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, I feel that it was so successful that they backed themselves into a corner by doing that last episode, that last season.
And now they're doing a prequel.
Oh, but I think the opposite of Game of Thrones. And if you talk to most Game of Thrones fans, they would say that it was too rushed at the end. Like they could have used an entire other season to really explain everything with all the characters.
But they were out of gas, those writers.
No, that's fair enough. And they were off to do Star Wars movies or whatever. But the best example is, or one of them, Walking Dead, okay? I fought that show for a long time. I wasn't into zombies and stuff, and it's kind of BTV. But when I started watching, I'm like, okay, it's an interesting concept, right? And the first 4 or 5 seasons, I was in. It is freaking terrible now, and because you're kind of stuck in. Although Brooksy and I had this discussion last night. We said, I think we're out. The premiere, which I watched last night, was so bad. I said, why am I still watching this show? It's not even BTV. It's like C-grade television.
But because you've watched so much up until this point, don't you feel like you have to? Yeah, it's terrible.
You're invested in the whole thing.
It's like a long, bad movie, but you want to see the end of it?
No, you walk out.
All right, then it's like a boring book, but you gotta finish it.
No, you wait for the movie.
Did you watch Walking Dead, any of you guys?
No. I don't.
I would watch that show, but tell you to quit after like 5 seasons, and then you get out.
But you still want to know how it ends.
I know,
like, even
but
a bad movie.
But they make so much money that they can't stop.
You know, it's funny. I'm there right now with a show called The Affair. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it.
Again, looked like a great premise, but that should have been a 1-season show, right?
Sarah Jessica Parker. Right?
No. That's The Divorce. The Affair is
the cop from The Wire's in there, right? McNulty, right?
Oh yeah. Now I know which one.
Joshua Jackson, and I can't. Yeah. I don't even know all of the characters. To be honest with you, it's great, right? Maura Tierney, Maura. Yeah, she's one of the main characters, and she's fantastic. I watched the show just for her acting. It's unbelievable. Yes. But I'm in the last season right now, and it's kind of like, this is not. You know,
Breaking Bad was what, 6 seasons, maybe?
I think so.
That was perfect for that show. 5-6 seasons.
And don't spoil that because I
no problem.
I think 4, 3 or 4. The British shows all do it right. They're all short. They do it like they don't do it long. It's boom, boom, boom.
Is Ray Donovan still going?
I think so.
No, didn't they have a series finale of Ray Donovan? Look at that stuff while we're sitting there. Anyway, I'm only on episode 3. Great show. Yeah. Love that show.
I don't think it was me that turned you on. I think it was
I've never seen it.
Oh, it wasn't you?
Wasn't me.
Oh, anyway, Ray Donovan. Worst endings. Everybody thinks this, Sopranos fans will say that was a good ending. I thought it was stupid.
I loved it.
40 Seconds of Black. Just kill him. Is he dead?
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
There's no question he's dead.
That's how you die.
No, there is a question. That's how they...
When you die...
So there will be a 7th season of Ray Donovan.
Yeah. It's not over, yeah.
It's not over. But so the other one I saw a lot of people throwing out there was Seinfeld, that they hated it.
I didn't like
and I think that's way too critical.
I did not like
I didn't love it, but it's a comedy, so who really cares, right?
I thought it wrapped everything up pretty nicely.
They were in jail?
What did people expect?
The idea that Larry David has talked about, that they were all finally paying for all their stupid sins.
Yeah, and also it was a great, and I've heard them say this before, it was a great way to bring back all the characters.
Absolutely.
And so to celebrate that, right? So
that was one of the best parts of the show. Was all the different characters.
I didn't even know how did Friends end? They just
left
in the cafe.
What's her?
I think Rachel and Ross got married.
Yeah, and
or something
Monica
like that?
and Chandler go out to the suburbs?
They went out to the suburbs, and I'll be honest with you, Friends was 2 years long, too long for me.
Have
I ever told you my theory about Friends?
Not enough black people?
Well, it goes without saying.
Yeah.
New York City, come on.
True,
you never see anybody black or Asian or Hispanic.
Giuliani for you.
Incredible. But to me, and it would have been tough to do, I admit it, but what they should have done with Friends is make Rachel's baby, make Joey the father.
Boom.
Come on.
Well, they had some stretch there where they were trying to put those
Everybody
two
was
together.
bad.
Well, exactly. Like Rachel dated everyone on that show, no?
Yeah.
Well, she didn't
was
date.
so hot.
She didn't date Chandler.
She might be the hottest of.
Rachel in her prime?
Yeah, like.
She's in a new show now that's coming up on Apple TV too. That's looking pretty good. It's about the news.
Oh, that does look really good.
Not the newsroom. It's called like the morning show. I think it's called. I think it's called the morning show.
What was the show that the whole thing was a dream in the autistic boys? Is Hill Street Blues?
Really?
I don't know.
No, it was a
Newhart
hospital
was one that
it was a hospital one. People are yelling at their TV.
Grey's Anatomy?
It was there was an autistic boy who was the
good
son
doctor?
of one of the characters. No, we were talking like
MASH?
20 years ago.
Oh.
No, it
MASH.
wasn't MASH.
St. Elsewhere.
I think it was the end of St. Elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it came out, and the idea was that the autistic kid had just dreamt out the entire show, which is kind of cool. Or the worst
Newhart
ending
did
ever.
the same thing too.
Yeah, Newhart was apparently, everybody thinks Newhart was the greatest ending ever, though, because you can end a comedy show like that, right?
No, Mary Tyler Moore is up there as well. Pretty good endings.
We're dating ourselves.
No,
now.
we are dating ourselves.
How about that All in the Family?
Like The Simpsons should probably end, shouldn't it?
Yes.
They should have ended a while ago.
And even Family Guy. As much as I love these shows,
Yeah.
but do you ever watch them anymore?
Is there still
But they're
new Family
on.
Guys?
No.
I don't know. Are there?
I have no idea.
I haven't seen one. I don't
Anyway,
know.
we've talked a lot about television.
Yes.
Give us your opinions at Rubber Boots Pod on
Give us
Twitter
5 stars.
or the Instagram. Give us a 5-star review.
Yes.
And then tell us what your favorite endings are, what shows you're watching now. That's this little segment we call What You Watching. Did you have a hypothetical before we go?
We could probably save it for next
You want
week.
to save it for next
Yeah.
week? How are we on time today,
We're
Stoff?
pretty long.
We're pretty tight.
We still need 5 more minutes.
No, I have to do an interview with Brad Richards for my book, so we're going to let you go this week. We will see you next week, which will be episode 100, or will it be 99 again for the third straight week on the Rubber
We'll
Boots
see how
Pod.
the planning goes.
Still celebrations.
How are ya? I got a question that I really wanna ask ya. Wait, don't hang up. I need to know, so I'm gonna try and push my luck. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, or black or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Do you like the dunk tank at the fair? Oh, I know it's a little strange. My obsession with your choice of footwear in the rain. And I know that you're on TV, but I need you to put your boots up on the desk for me. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, or black or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Do you like the dunk tank or the fair? This is the part they call the bridge. A bridge has water under it. With rubber boots you can wade in the water. Just don't fall in. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, or black or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Do you like the dunk tank at the fair? Do you really like the dunk tank at the fair? Dunk tank.
Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight?